Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is the premiere of our September short campaign of MASHED, a game by Mark Plemmons that takes place in a MASH unit during the Korean War. It was in part inspired by the TV show, but based mostly on the history. Our players will be part of the fictional 8099th MASH unit, or 8099. Let us go around and introduce everybody and see who they're playing. Before we start doing our various bits of world buildery that I always do at the beginning of these short campaigns. And we will start with Robin. Hello!
Hi everyone, I'm Robin. I'm also sick. Today I am playing Clark Remington, the cowboy. I use she, her pronouns. Clark uses he, him.
Excellent, excellent. And now let us move on to Noah. Hello!
Hello, my name is Noah. I'm gonna be playing my private character. His name is Raid Egan. You can call him Egan if the spelling for the first name is too hard.
Cool. Excellent.
And yeah.
And now let's move over to Pepper. Hello!
Hello, hello. My name is Pepper. They, them pronouns in real life. You can find me on Twitter at maybe they4815. You can find me on Archive of Our Own with the same handle. I write mostly for Critical Role. And I am playing Dr. Isaiah Gold, who uses he, him pronouns.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. And now let us move on to Pope. Hello.
Hey everybody, Pope here. This is gonna be a ride. I'm going to be playing Captain, but more likely addressed as either Padre or Father Jacob Silver. I'm the MASH's chaplain, so we'll see what sort of hijinks ensue, and people need to be counseled.
Yes. Excellent. Good. Okay. Well, now that we are doing that, let me actually turn off the audio on these background videos that I have playing, so that I can appear as though I am in a field of wheat. And apparently there was audio coming through, but that's all right. It's fixed now. Incidentally, once again, this is a premiere, so if anyone out there happens to hear anything weird in the audio, please let me know, and I will try to fix it. Also, pursuant to being the best we possibly can here, just as a reminder, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of the players, any of them can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and we'll do something else. If something happens that they're okay having in the game, but they don't want a graphic description of it, they can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if you're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for you, but you want to keep going, you can put an O in the chat to let us know you're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or we say or do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that to let us know if we're still doing okay. So this game is one that is heavily inspired by a television show of a very similar name, but then also was very more directly based on the history. As I said, this is a fictional MASH unit that we're going to be building tonight, and we're gonna just kind of see what happens. I had thoughts at one time of making plans, and then things happened, and then I didn't have time to make plans. So this is going to be the usual chaos that folks have come to expect from any of my streams, where I'm just going to basically talk for a while and stumble into things, and then we'll eventually hit them. So as this is happening, let's go into setup mode. So let's see here. As we have this, this is going to be the first session. We're sort of building on our characters and kind of figuring out a little bit more about them. And we click down here. I've got the, as we turn in our hymnals to getting this set up. Okay, making introductions. So I'd like to go around and get a little more in depth about each of the characters. And just sort of see a few details about kind of what you've chosen for them. You don't have to go into detail about the moves, especially if you're still deciding. But anything that you're sort of interested in the character doing, and I may ask questions, and we'll kind of just start talking about that a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and, again, I'm going to start with Robin, and I'm going to ask, tell us a little bit about Clark Remington.
So Clark Remington is the cowboy. He is a warrant officer. He's an Aquarius, and he drives an ambulance here for the MASH unit. The thing about this game is you have your playbook, and then you also have a role that you inhabit within the unit, and the role that Clark inhabits is the Casanova. So he's got, a few on-again, off-again relationships with the nurses every time they come through, flirting with the girls, seeing how they're doing, just checking up on them.
Well, and that's the thing, is that once you've brought in the wounded, you're pretty much I think unless you voluntarily help out with something else, you're pretty much done in the usual thing. So you have time to kind of saunter about and do things if you so desire. Of course, usually it's best to wait until after they're done patching people up, and then there we go. Is there so for Clark? Now there is, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, I just slammed the entirety of this book into my brain over the last few days, so it's there are bits probably that are leaking, and I'm going to have to patch them up. And in so doing, I'm going to ask, I think it is, as we're kind of looking at the roles here, that they have history modifiers. And what are they for the Casanova?
I have -1 to bully and +1 to clown.
Okay, that means you're going to have already, from to my mind at least, some kind of pre-existing knowledge and/or relationship of some kind with our private, Private Egan.
Yep.
And I'm actually kind of wondering. Well, let's go ahead and get all the characters introduced first. And,
I should mention he's pretty young. He's 24 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very handsome. Because what's the point of playing a character if you can't make them incredibly good looking?
But of course. And actually, while I'm on the subject and I'm looking at your rank here, about how long, when we do the main action of the game, about how long do you think you've been working as a warrant officer?
There's whole military ranks and stuff in here, and I don't know how they work.
Oh, sure. No, that's why I'm asking. All I need, yeah. So if you've got an idea of how long you've been doing it, then I can help sort of apply stuff.
Less than a year, like I'd say 8 months.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So yeah, you're at Warrant Officer 1, rank 1 right now. There are 4 of them. But the interesting thing being is that you're in that strange spot in between lieutenants and sergeants and lieutenants. That's kind of interesting. Now, it's, mechanically, if you're giving orders, you're still there's only you only get a bonus if you're ordering around junior enlisted, which is just basically privates. but that's kind of where we are. Where we are with that. But in the chain, if it comes to look at that, then you're sort of in between those two. Okay, so let's go over for, and I may hop back to you for more details
Of course.
as we're going around, because
I'm willing to provide.
This is mostly improv right now, so let's move around to our corpsman, and tell us a little bit about Egan.
Well, Egan is taking the role of a clown. So that's a -1 to misanthropy and +1 to bully, if I'm correct, on the history. Yeah, and well, since like I said before, before we start the stream, he has gone through his share of war before, and this isn't his first, but he's starting out as a private on this war, and I'd say he's only serving for about 2 months, maybe more, no more than 5, that's for sure. And well, he's a bit, he likes to prank people, but his prank is mostly childish stuff. He's mostly good at jokes and certain jabs, but he's also kind of a clown himself. He makes fun of himself a lot more than he makes fun of people. And other than that, he's also he can be pretty nervous around like his upper ups, and pretty shaky when he's getting yelled at, so he's pretty fragile a little bit. And yeah.
Excellent. Cool. So it's I'm now already seeing that there's probably a bully character that will be an NPC that Clark and Egan have know in common in some way or other, and we'll start figuring out more about the NPCs once we get into the command section and we fill those out, and then we'll add anyone else that we need at that point. Cool, excellent. Pepper, tell us a little bit about Captain Gold.
Well, Isaiah is, first and foremost, he's a doctor. He's very proud of that fact. He worked very hard to get his way through medical school, followed in his father's footsteps. He enlisted in the military a few years after medical school. He's only been in the military for about 1 to 2 years. He's still very new to it. He has the role of the sky pilot, so he's a devout practicing Catholic, because I am a recovering Catholic myself and I am most familiar with Catholicism. So he goes to mass once a week, he goes to confession once a week, he tries his best to be a good Catholic boy and save lives.
Excellent. So what and for your sky pilot role, who do you have your history with?
I have a +1 to sticklers and a -1 to Casanovas.
Excellent. Okay, good. Excellent.
I love me some character drama.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Does that go both ways, or does that just mean like I have a 0 with the doc?
Yeah, you don't. As far as I've been able to determine, and this may be updated as I review things and gain greater knowledge. But as far as I'm aware, it seems like these are one way.
Okay.
For the most part.
I figured. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah. But that does mean in the story there will be some kind of history, is what I would like to make that mean, basically. And so there will be something that has happened with Isaiah and Clark at some point. And so you had a -2 Sky Pilots. You had a +2. Which one?
Sticklers.
Sticklers. Excellent. Good. We're gonna need a stickler. And also, one thing I did want to ask is what kind of doctor Are you one of the general ones that they keep on staff? They usually will try to keep at least 4 on staff if they can, or do you do something more specialized?
Honestly, I was thinking his original specialty was as a trauma surgeon, which is why he enlisted in the military. But it's wherever you would like to put him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the main playbook for the surgeons themselves are is the cutter. So they're the ones that get all the basic surgery moves.
You could be a gas passer.
I'm not familiar.
Anesthesiologist. They're kind of important, especially in surgery.
As someone chronically ill, I completely understand that. I haven't even decided yet, so
Sure.
Who knows?
Yeah, and if you decide you want to, and also, by the way, if you decide you want to switch playbooks, if you want to switch to cutter, that's also perfectly fine. We can do that. Yeah, as far as they have MASH generally has 4 general duty docs, and then a number of if you decide you're sticking with doc, then they have like anesthesiologists, dentists.
I think psychiatry was on the list too.
Oh yes, psychiatrist is definitely on the list.
That kind of caught my eye, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we could definitely even just sort of figure this out as we're talking, or if as we get into sort of downtime and sort of see if you decide if something calls out to you, then we can feel free to lean in that direction.
Absolutely.
The good thing is any doc can help in the OR. So that anyone can actually help in the OR. That's the other cool thing. You can always assist, even if it just means hold this tray. So that's always good. But that is good to know as we're sort of figuring that out. Pope, tell us about the Padre.
The good father not too long ago finished his residency in order to become an Episcopal priest. So that's part of a 3-year term with a hospital. It's rough. You have to deal with a lot of the dead and the dying. And not long after that, since it just sort of clicked, and as opposed to his fellows who kind of went, I can't wait to get to a parish, he was like, parish is not where I'm meant to be, and joined the army. So he likes dealing with soldiers. And the broken, and that's his calling. He also just likes, salt of the earth folk, and is a bit of a wheeler and a dealer. In fact, he's an operator. So if you need to get something, he might know somebody. And, well, he's lucky enough to be able to get in the good graces or quick with a line about doing something for your fellow man to get the wheels greased. As such, since he's a bit more salty, as it were, he's now -1 to sky pilots and a +1 with the gray.
Excellent.
Not always tells the most outstanding sermons. Sunday Mass for him is pretty much down, dirty, quick, let's get through this, you all have better places to be. And I like the idea of him being the guy who organizes the poker game.
Nice. This is good. This is a good thing.
No, it's yeah, though there's a place for the high and holy, but day in, day out, in order to keep all these people sane, it's more playing volleyball, playing cards, and occasionally getting people to just sit down and talk. Because that's what keeps these guys going.
Excellent. Good. Okay. So we've already got a few potential connections here. That what I am looking over right now, and I've basically written down the some of the the other folks that we're going to need to make into NPCs at some point. So I think as we go around again, shall I start with? Yeah, let's start with just basically the PCs, and then we'll kind of I'll delve into other sort of character question type things. So I think that there is Robin, you said that Clark has a negative with clowns. Is that correct?
Oh, it's positive with
Positive
clowns.
with clowns. Excellent.
Negative
Good.
with bullies.
Negative with bullies, positive with clowns. Cool. Awesome. All right, I just want to make sure I'm getting that right here. So that means that there is something happened. That with in the past recently, perhaps if Egan hasn't been here very long, this would have happened relatively recently. But I'd sort of like to ask the both of you, what is it that happened that might have allowed you to connect in some fashion, some interesting thing? And you don't have to answer it immediately, but if you have an answer, then feel free to leap forward with one.
One of my ideas would be that I'm like what is it? It's like I'm your underlings basically.
You're you're kind of like my wingman
Yeah.
person.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm starting out, and you're like my senior, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you've been here a long time, huh?
I kind of adopted you as like my little brother.
Oh, that's sweet. Because
Nice.
Egan has a little brother too back home.
Mm-hmm. Well, so does Clark.
Big brothers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You gotta be the younger brother this time.
It's delightful.
I think. Oh, would it be nice if you had like a romantic entanglement go sour, and I was kind of like, I kind of like helped you back on your feet, kind of thing.
Oh, that could happen, yeah. Because like yeah, because Egan is well, he's homosexual, but yeah, the people from where he's come from is not really accepting of him, and he's also struggling in US, and now he's also struggling too in the military. So yeah, he's gonna need all the help he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Very cool. There was something I was going to ask, and it's just flown out of my head, but I'll get it back eventually. I had to turn off the piano keys; they were getting to me, so I decided to turn on the forest instead. Yeah, so I think that. Oh yeah, right. As a corpsman, then you basically will help with things like transporting the patients once they get to the camp. So that's easily just a way, since reason why you would see Clark very very often, just because it's kind of one of those deals. Yeah, corpsmen most often, especially if they're privates, they'll do they'll clean out the bedpans, change sheets, they'll do orderly type stuff. But they can also they're an extra pair of hands if need be for whatever. Let's see. So we've got also, continuing our chain here, we have another connection where we have, let me see. Between, we have a little connection here between Clark and Isaiah, because Isaiah has if I'm remembering this right, it's negative toward Casanovas. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So there must have been some incident or other that brought Clark to your attention.
Well, I was thinking it would be a natural thing for Isaiah to see Clark come and go, especially transporting patients, right? And like Robin said, Clark likes to flirt with the pretty nurses after, especially.
He does a lot more than flirt.
Exactly. So what if Isaiah sees that and immediately just like immediate disapproval?
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even have to talk to you. You just see me walking out of a nurse's tent and you're like
There's lipstick smudged on your cheek or something.
pulling up the collar of his jacket to cover a hickey.
Yes.
Isaiah, is there something you're concerned about with respect to Warrant Officer Remington that might that you think might cause a problem?
Well, that is a very many-layered question with many different kinds of answers. Isaiah's a very complex character. He's got a Shrek going on. He's got onion layers.
Cool.
So there's always the practical factors. If they're not being safe, this could lead to an accidental pregnancy. This could lead to the spread of venereal disease. There's also the fact this could lead to romantic entanglements that can mess with the dynamic of the unit. There's also the fact this is also, considering the fact Isaiah is Catholic, this is something that the church kind of frowns upon. So Isaiah kind of takes it on himself to not judge someone, but he can't help but let his judgment be colored by this.
Oh, and Clark also isn't religious, so you probably don't like him for that either.
Well, as long as he's not flagrantly atheist or anything, I don't think Isaiah's going to have a problem.
He's not, well, I guess not flagrantly atheist.
This is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Excellent. I have to wonder, Clark, do you have any opinion at all about Captain Gold?
Captain Silver? Is that
Captain
not...
Isaiah Gold.
We have Captains Gold and Silver.
We have Captain Silver, who's our Reverend, and we've got Isaiah Leeson, who's our Doctor. They're both Captain.
It's not Isaiah Gold?
No, it's Gold.
Okay. I was concerned.
What?
Isaiah's last name is Gold.
Yeah, I decided. It's Gold.
We have Captains Gold and Silver.
Okay. No, that's not going to confuse me at all.
I just... it's wonderful. I wrote it on the overlay, and I only just noticed it when Pope pointed it out.
That's amazing.
Because I was looking back in the chat.
On Discord, yeah.
Yeah, it said Leeson.
Oh, really?
I was hemming and hawing for a while, and I just rolled a d20 to decide.
Well, good thing that I wrote all my character sheet in pencil and not pen, as I like to use pen better.
Wow.
Good for me.
Oh, no worries.
I was sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Opinion of Isaiah. Does Clark have an opinion of Isaiah?
I mean, he's got a stick up his ass, but whatever. As long as he doesn't step on my toes, he can do whatever he wants.
Excellent. This can't possibly boil over. This will be great. Oh, good Lord. And then as far as in the last sort of connection that I have here is between Isaiah and Jacob. Jacob, you have a, and again, I'm making sure I put this down right. Do you have a negative relationship with Sky Pilots? Is that right?
Yeah, Sky Pilots don't take kindly to me.
Excellent. So, this is a very religious person. This is someone who is a chaplain. What went wrong?
Excellent question. Oh, I have an idea.
Oh.
Yes. So you're regular in confession, and you probably had brought up the situation with Clark, and what should I do, Father? And well, in Jacob's mind, as long as they're safe, there's nothing to do about it. They both need to, press that stress release. And if somebody's not cheating on some husband or wife back home, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. And I can also see coming from Isaiah's point of view that Silver's a man of the cloth, and the fact he has connections, the fact that he's a lot more casual than what he's used to.
Oh yeah, and
rubs...
also like Protestant versus Catholic and Episcopal, and Episcopal is pretty much just watered down Catholic, or as someone who has been practicing Episcopalian, drunk Catholic. There is a joke that Silver likes to use in regular sermons or offhandle that he just tells all the time, which is, my father had 3 sons, and to figure out and sort out his sons, one day he sat down on the kitchen table waiting for his kids to come back home, a $20 bill, a fifth of Jack, and a Bible to see which one was going to be the drunkard, which one was going to be the thief, and which one was going to be the holy man. I was the first one home. I took 20, I drank the fifth, and I took the Bible. That's when you knew I was going to be an Episcopal priest.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, sweet character development.
I do have, so we've got your, I think we've got kind of the basic things down. I am going to, as far as just the things we already established, and I think as far as just initial connections, they're all thrown together, working together. But I think that just to complete this chain here, I'd like to forge some kind of additional connection with Egan, and I guess that should probably be with Jacob, since they're the ones that have only one out either way as far as PCs go. Has there been any sort of and this can be anything, any sort of opinion formed, or a thing that happened, or some encounter or other? Does the operator take advantage of the clown, or vice versa? What is happening?
I think Egan has caught the good father sneaking into the supply tent every once in a while, and taking a few things out and depositing a few others. And it's been their little secret.
Yeah. And I can imagine, like, you mentioned, like, you've always started, like, playing poker and doing this fun stuff. And I can imagine, like, Egan is like, we're kind of keeping each other from getting stressed here. I mean, we're in a war, so, let's just chill together and just,
Like, I think the first time you caught him was when you got invited to the poker game.
It's like, what am I getting into here? And then he's like, oh, when are we doing this again? Next night? All right, let's go. Chop, chop.
Excellent. Good. Must make note, there's a poker game. Okay. We touched on this a little bit, and I kind of want to pursue it just for a moment. And that is, we talked a little bit about the characters have families, and so this, I am reminded that is often a topic of conversation that will come up from time to time if people need to figure things out. So I just want to go back and ask, just around to confirm. So Clark, you have a younger brother, yes?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's he's 3 years younger than me. He's in medical school. He's a real smart cookie. And then my my mother has passed away when I was a kid, and my father served in World War II. And so that's why I'm very protective of my younger brother, is because there was, that span of time where I was the one taking care of him. Basically, we lived with our aunt and uncle during that time while he was serving. But yeah, I feel very responsible for his well-being, and I'm definitely projecting that responsibility onto Private Egan.
Do you know where Clark hails from? Where does Clark come from?
He was born in Wyoming, but his family moved to Colorado after his mother died, and he was. I don't know how the military works, but I think he was drafted, and he was working as a mechanic.
Nice.
He was working as a mechanic at his father's shop, and that's how he became an ambulance driver, is because he's good with vehicles.
Cool. Excellent. I love it. Details. Good. Good. Okay. So for Egan. So Egan has again. We heard a little bit. Anything else you'd like to tell us about Egan's family life? I know you have a younger brother. Anything else we should?
Oh, well, he have a younger brother, which is like 6 years younger than him. He has like a mother back home that is taking care of his brother, and then his father recently finally getting retired after all the War of Independence. And thing about Egan is that his family is it's like his father wants him to be part of the military because they're so proud of being like part of the independence, part of the fight and all that. So at first Egan really doesn't want to be a military man. He's always want to be like a journalist or someone with like studying and stuff like that. But because of his father, he really have to push to be a military man in the end. And so here he is. And well, I'd say this then. I'll say this. He always wanted to have a big brother because at home he doesn't have. He only have his mother to talk to, and his father has always been, like I said, always been pushing him to be a military man. So he can't really connect to his dad. And yeah, having Clark around really just makes him like, this feels much more at home.
Nice. Very good. Very good. I don't think we actually said. I think we might have talked about it a little bit beforehand, but I don't think we said on stream. Where is Egan from?
Oh, he's from Indonesia, and then he moved to US and then signed up for the military, and then he got transferred over to Korea for taking part in the war.
Excellent. Cool. Very good. Very good. All right. Now back around to Isaiah. You have any family?
Isaiah is an only child, so he really only has his parents that he's in regular contact with. He also sends a small portion of his paycheck back to them. He has regular contact with the family priest from the small town where he grew up. Other than that, most of his social circle and most of his life revolves around his job. He considers himself a doctor first and a soldier second.
Excellent. And where is Isaiah from?
He is from a very small rural farm town in Indiana. Nothing but corn for miles.
The land of corn. Good. Cool. Excellent. And now back around to Jacob. Jacob, you mentioned brothers. Tell us about your home life.
Yeah, my two older brothers. There's Samuel and David. Um, they're all back home. He's originally from Key West. He's a conch. And no, mom and dad are still back home, living that shrimp boating life as the pink gold, as it were, is all happening now down the Keys, helping that entire economy bounce back after a few other things dried up. The new Navy base is being built down there, so it's a bit of a boom. His brothers are both in construction, so they're having themselves a ball. And yeah, that's most of the home front. We're all a little strange from down there.
Yeah, you think.
Fun fact: my original parish down there, it's actually a cathedral. It's the biggest church on the small island, and has a bit of an echo because all the flooring is done with pink marble tile. Also, point of fact, it's one of the few places you can actually find a sermon on Sundays where the priest is wearing shorts.
Oh, that climate, you kind of have to almost.
Sandals are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily wear formal wear to church.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, cool. Good. Let's see. So, as we forge ahead here, oh yeah, okay. I think again before I'm going to once again push back the character questions a little bit beyond figuring out some stuff out of the command section and some of the other NPCs we have about, because I think that'll help inform, will help flesh things out a little bit and help inform what we've got going on. Let me pull up. Once again, this info, what I need to have in front of me. Right, okay. So we've got to build the camp here. We actually have, we're just using the default map that they have in there, but we can figure out kind of where everyone is. But also things that are not necessarily on the map. So among various other things, so if you would like to say kind of where it is, normally, so let me step back a bit. So if you are of private rank, then you have sort of your very communal housing. With a bunch of other folks. If you are, let's see, I'm trying to remember for the yeah, and I think that's also going to be the same generally for the non-commissioned officers. The warrant officers, since you're in transport, you might actually have something just with the other folks that do the same thing.
I read, and it didn't specify.
Yeah, so we can decide basically, so like I say, so you can if you want, you can pick one of the brushes, like a color there, and circle where you want to be on the map, basically, as far as your housing is concerned. Anyone of rank of captain, usually, anyone who's not the padre and who is a captain. Will generally share with one or two others of similar rank. So Isaiah probably bunks with at least one of the other doctors. And then, of course, the chaplain has his own tent. And that actually might already be marked on the map. So it is. So we already know where the chaplain is.
Yeah, I'm right next to the CO. That's fine.
That's got to be fun. So basically, like I said, if you feel like going into the paintbrush and and if I can see what colors you are right now. If you decide you want to just sort of mark wherever it is that you're currently staying. So like the enlisted quarters will be where I think Egan and Clark are going to be. And I think that, well, unless, okay, no, wait a minute, I think I'm seeing part of the pattern here, is that there are tents up by the, if you want to say you're staying in with, there are tents up by the helicopter detachment and over by the motor pool. I would think those are normally for stuff, but could stay there if you want.
I like the idea that Clark wants, like, obviously some privacy, so he's kind of made a room. Like, he's just like scrumbled together stuff from other tents and like made like just like a tiny little, like, here are the tires, here are the parts. I'm not a car person, oh god. Here are the car parts. Here's like our oil, here's our stuff, and here's my bed. Welcome to the Love Shack.
Excellent. So you've got your own little
Cubby hole.
little cubby hole over in the motor pool tents.
Yeah, it's
That's
over
awesome.
here. Check it out. Well, it looks like they've got like a Quonset kind of thing, and that's where the cars are. So it's not like it's not like there's like running engines in there. It's just the parts and stuff. So
Yeah, that's actually probably where most of your, because the hard case one is where you're going to have your fuel and your spare parts. The tent there is going to be mostly for the softer stuff, like your hoses, your tires, and things.
And your fans.
Yeah, so you're going to have that, and you probably have acquired a cot, ferreted that in there, maybe a few other accoutrements. And you still have your normal bunk in the enlisted quarters, but this is your little love shack.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is good.
It's right next to the showers, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that convenient?
I think if this were a different game and debts were involved, I definitely owe good father a debt, because that's where I would have gotten my stove for warmth and my extra cot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I'm looking over at the. As I'm looking over at this, I'm looking for the. So they've got the enlisted quarters, and I cannot for the life of me see where the officers stay.
Oh, it's
those are
the BOQs.
Yeah.
Those are the BOQs? Okay.
Yeah.
The boxes, as they're typically called, are where usually 2 to 3 doctors are tinted up.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna need somewhere down there in one of those tents, Isaiah. All right.
They're all around.
Yeah. So you could be close to the Korean workers, guard post, supply, or close to the club.
Honestly, I think he will be closer to the club, closer to the river if he's there at all. I think he's got a very similar situation, honestly, to Clark, except in the hospital, he's got like a little cubby hole in the janitor's closet that he crashes in for 10 to 20 minutes at a time, because most of his time is honestly spent in the hospital.
Yeah, especially early on in the war. Lot of casualties. So many casualties come in during the first part of this war. So
the central supply closet in the hospital is a second home?
Yeah. And Isaiah is very familiar with black coffee.
it keeps us all alive.
Yeah, as a barista, yes.
Yes. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Good. I guess that's also the funny thing is that they, I presume, and they didn't actually. I don't know if they mentioned this specifically, or if I just breezed past it in the book. The fact that there is a club, I assume that this is a recreational area.
It's typically the officers' club.
Yeah.
That is for where
Okay.
the officers, for them to kick back. We usually have like maybe a bar, maybe some better chow stowed away, um, and tables and chairs for certain forms of recreation.
Excellent. See, that helps because that makes sense. Um,
They may
I
also
mean,
have especially in this era, depending on what time we are in the war, they might have acquired a ping pong table.
cool. Okay. Yeah. So that helps me there a little bit, and that also leads me to another question. Two other questions, in fact, quite possibly. Um, so I feel as though therefore the enlisted folks probably have to create their own space for where they would want to kind of hang out and recreate. Um, and so I'd kind of want to ask Clark and Egan where that is.
Hmm.
Here the trash dump seems right. Can always shoot those trash, maybe on off time, or maybe just play soccer somewhere. Egan likes playing soccer.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
I think the landing zone, like, obviously, it's going to be pretty empty when people aren't dying, and that's when we have our free time. Listen,
yes.
and helicopters are pretty cool. Maybe we hang out on the helipad.
Oh, we hang out in the helipad and then pretend we're flying through the air.
Well, Clark doesn't.
This is
He doesn't
wonderful.
play pretend, but you can do that.
I mean, if you wanna try to do something with the helicopter, we could, but we could get be charged. I'm up for pranks and all, but that might be taking it too far.
Let's not mess with the helicopters, okay? Yeah. Let's just leave them be.
All right, let's play basketball. I've always wanted to play basketball. How do you play basketball?
Nice.
I'm no varsity athlete, kid. But,
So there's yeah. I will say sometimes that the mess tent usually is also where sometimes they'll show movies and they'll do other sort of camp recreational activities that are kind
Yeah.
of more sort of semi-official. But yeah, I need to appropriate that. I also need to ask Jacob where the poker game takes place.
Oh, the poker game?
Yes.
Since the poker game is a private affair, it's hosted in his tent.
Okay. All right. Cool. That works.
am I invited?
Oh yes, definitely.
Well, you weren't until your little brother got
Hey,
you
remember
in.
remember when I lost my belt? Yeah, it was from that poker game. I lost that to the poker game. That's why I need to hold up my pants all this time. Can I borrow yours, by the way? I need to win that back tonight. But
You need to win that back because you're not getting my belt.
Should not have called attention to that specialty belt buckle you got.
Yep.
It was so shiny. Surely it was worth something. Excellent. I love this. I love all of this. Okay. Let me just looking at here. Okay. So I think the last thing I'm going to ask as we're sort of building the camp. A few things. Actually, no. There are more questions here. Okay. The next question I will ask as we're building the camp is if there is going to be, and obviously, like I said, we're using the map, but we can also make changes if we want. And I'm wondering if there is a prominent geographical feature that stands out. If there's anything, and they give suggestions as like a hill, a river, or ice paddy, and we've got a river on the map, but we don't necessarily have to go with that.
No, I like the
else?
idea of there being a river.
Mhm.
I just like the idea of it. Part of the reason why everything's backed up to it, especially that section, is it's fast moving and it's far deeper than it looks. So you're not catching fish in it as much as the CO wants to. And yeah, that's a good place to throw something if you want to lose it.
Also a good place. Well, I guess you could say it's a bad place to dare privates to go skinny dipping. Um, probably not. Probably not a good idea.
You're a terrible person.
Don't I know it?
That's how you get hypothermia. Let's not do that.
Hypothermia is bad for you. Which way is the? And actually, you don't even need to give me a compass direction per se, but there's probably which way would the nearest settlement be? Do we think?
From here,
And
probably, I want to say 15 clicks from here.
I'm tempted to say south because looking at the contours of the map, it looks like we're butting up against a hillside.
yeah,
Yeah.
that works. All right, cool. So settlements.
For us who don't know things and are just like a little bit dumb, how much distance is a click?
A click is 1 kilometer.
Okay, perfect. I know how that's good for me because I don't know miles. That's my preferred form of measurement.
Yeah, no. A click is 1 kilometer.
Okay.
So 15 clicks, 15 kilometers.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for asking that. I was going to just look it up later, but that's.
I didn't know if it was like a military term or something.
It is.
Okay, but like a military measurement, like that's arbitrary, just like miles are.
Now, when you're dealing with marching people, miles all of a sudden kind of go out the window, and you start using kilometers, especially when you actually have snipers, which are significantly deployed in this war.
Yes.
Of course, no once we get to Vietnam, but they are used.
Definitely. Let's see, what else? Now, were there any abandoned when we came here? Were there any abandoned buildings that we wanted to use, or just what we have here? So, like, there could be any number of things because there's been a lot of war around this place. There are plenty of places that have been abandoned, and also just places that were in the first place. So things like schoolhouses, churches, houses, things of that nature. Any features like that around that we should know about?
I think there's a completely condemned former schoolhouse in the trash dump.
It's kind of is the trash dump.
Yeah.
It holds the trash in because there's no roof and it's bombed to hell, so there's no use for us using it for anything other than just holding garbage. And
Also, what
Go
if
ahead.
there was an abandoned village not too far from here?
It might be further north. Like the LZ looks like it's on a hill, so
Yeah.
there might be further up the ways, since it's probably a hilly area.
Mhm.
Like in a valley between the different hills, there might be, especially if there's like an old schoolhouse here, there might be a small village that was abandoned.
Cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Those are things to play with. It is good. Excellent. Let's see. Oh yeah. And now a couple of general questions to ask you folks to see if you have an answer to these. First off, what does this unit need but is hard to obtain?
is this in like material terms, or can this be a little bit more
It can
conceptual?
It can be ethereal if you prefer.
Well, you could always say it's like some damn peace and quiet. It's not getting any time. Or you could just say antibiotics.
Antibiotics were a thing that was running out quickly in the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Isaiah's
painkillers as well.
Yeah, Isaiah's first thought is always to medical supplies, especially painkillers, antibiotics, blood, plasma, things that go quick. Pepper's first thought is booze.
I like the thought that we like the front line's not too far from where we are, and that like the chopper pilot's more than the meat wagon, because the meat wagon's going up to the forward treatment post and grabbing people and bringing them back, but the choppers are almost constant. So, like, just soon as the guys on the floor are finishing up, like, they might get 20 minutes of shot-eye before we hear those birds coming in. And then it's right back to the killing floor. And then the other thing, yeah, probably antibiotics is what the father's trying to wheel deal for, and some form of entertainment, whether that's booze or movies or what have you. Those all being a dearth here.
Okay. Excellent.
Now I have a question to introduce. What did we get too much of? Because this is the military. There's always something that goes wrong, and you get too much of insert thing here. What did we get too much of?
I want to say toilet paper just for funsies.
I mean, you can use toilet paper as like bandages, or like, yeah, if you run out of bandages, you can use toilet paper.
You can make so many things out of toilet paper rolls.
Yeah, I mean, Clark can think of a couple things off the top of his head.
Yeah.
So we are the TP capital of the front. Got it.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. You've got a surplus of toilet paper to trade. So that's a thing, definitely. Cool, excellent. The last question I'm going to ask in this section, and this is more again a general question, and perhaps we've sort of already answered this, but we can see if we want to dive in a slightly different direction with it or not. What would make this camp a better place?
Oh, I
This
think
might
we
be
all
a
have,
different answer for everyone.
Different answers for everyone.
Oh. If we could get a new rotation of people in. These guys have been here too long.
I mean, Clark's kind of a hedonist. That's how you say it, right? It's very
Yes.
hedonist. So he would say better booze, better food, and more women.
Isaiah, his initial thought is more medical supplies, more doctors, more room.
Egan would say better, like maybe a sports field for, bit of a activity, just to relax. Maybe, better food is, yeah, he's gonna suggest a better food too. And maybe better equipment. Definitely better equipment.
There's definitely a situation with having to use old equipment here, and sometimes one stares at a thing and wonders which World War it was from. But these things will happen. Okay, good. So that's those are a lot of the basics. I think what we're going to go ahead and do then is take a quick break. and then we're going to come back and do some additional brainstorming. We're going to tackle a bunch of NPCs and kind of fill out the personnel and sort of figure out that part of the environment of the camp. So we're going to go to break real quick. We'll be back shortly. See you soon. Greetings, we have returned to do more things. So next, what we're doing is we're going to. I'm looking over at the command structure, the command section, and so these are the key NPCs I kind of want to fill out just so that we have them on hand. And those being as I'm. You don't need to come up with these immediately as I'm rattling off, but just for the benefit of the audience. That is the chief medic, who is the CO, the chief surgeon, who is the lead cutter, the chief nurse, the lead angel. There's an angel playbook. Chief of medicine, whoever the lead doc is. The executive officer, which can be any cutter or doc. The hospital chaplain, we know who that is. The first sergeant. And the company clerk. So, I'm going to start at the top for us to define some things about the CO. And I think what I'm gonna ask at first is I'm going to use the roles a little bit to kind of help us out here. If we see a particular role that we think, is there a particular role that we think would be good for this CO? And again, the roles are the bully, the Casanova, the clown, the gray, the misanthrope, the operator, the sky pilot, and the stickler. These NPCs we can double up. It's not, it doesn't have to be only one of them.
I have the feeling the CO's is the stickler.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right. Stickler it is. Since the CO is going to be, you're not going to see him all the time, but I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do something Pope will probably find quite familiar. I'm going to go around and ask everyone to give me a detail about the CO that I might work into the fiction here, as I try to figure out who this person is and what kind of CO it is, and all of that. And actually, anyone who wants to volunteer a detail.
He's a cat person.
He is a cat person. Excellent. By which I assume he has a cat, rather than he is in fact partially a cat.
I mean, he could be like a cat. He's hardly
CO is a cat.
He's hard to impress. He's hard to impress.
Him a cat.
What I love the idea of actually is that sometimes people think the CO is actually the cat. Not like they don't really think that, but it's like they come into his office. There's a cat on the desk, and sometimes they think because of how well he treats that cat, they think that the cat really must be the one who's in charge.
Yeah.
And may have actually gotten him the nickname before he came here, Tomcat.
Tomcat.
See, but I'm the Tomcat in this in this company.
There is only room for one.
He's the
There could be
in that
only
case.
one.
You can
No.
him being the old Tomcat and you being the new Tomcat.
No, it's fine. I don't want the nickname Tomcat. I'll keep fishing.
Old Tom. Okay, good. No.
Yeah, we just call him Old Tom, even though his first name is not Tom.
It might be. I don't know. So let's see. That's we've had a couple of details. One or two more details. So we know he's a cat person. We know that he's was considered a tomcat or the tomcat.
I think he's very fastidious about his appearance, and he definitely dyes his hair.
Excellent, excellent.
So he's an older man, obviously. He's our CO, and he dyes his hair to keep it brown and keep the gray out of it.
All right, and let's see, one more detail. I think we have not yet heard from Noah on this. Do you have a detail about the CO?
Well, I was saying that he's like a cat.
Oh, he is.
Is that he's you can hardly impress him, and not only that, he's kind of like that guy who's like, get off my lawn the most of the entire time, because people, I can imagine like Egan and his fellows friends from his quarters likes to hang out around the front of the CEO, just because it's a nice view in the back of the tent, and oops, there goes the CEO. It's
Yeah.
time to run, guys.
So let's see. So someone who's getting older, but still is not quite sure enough of himself that he can go without the hair dye. And so, given that age, I'm feeling this is probably a lieutenant colonel. That seems to fit for me. Okay. And I shall name hunt in a bit, and we'll figure that out.
I've got the name generator right up here. Do you want me to throw some out?
Yeah, if you like. If you see any that you think are cool.
Just give me a sec.
But,
I like the last name O'Malley.
Okay. Because it's a fun name, and I like the idea, like, because it's like a little playful, and then he's just so awful. Like, he's just like stuck up. I like the first name Gerald O'Malley.
Sure.
So, like, no, people want to call him Jerry. No.
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 You never get to call him Jerry.
Doesn't
ever.
work. Doesn't work out. So Isaiah, you have a problem with Lieutenant Colonel O'Malley. What problem do you have with the CO?
Well, it says I have a +1.
Oh, you have a plus? I'm sorry. I'm reading this. Finish drawing your plus symbol, Jim. There you go. Okay. I had a little sideways mark, and then I had an up and down mark next to it. They did not intersect for some reason. Now they do. What is it that? So you don't have a problem, in fact, with the lieutenant colonel. What is it that you like about the lieutenant colonel?
Honestly, I like the fact that he's determined to keep the unit running smoothly no matter the cost. Yeah, if some people will grumble, some people will bitch, some people will moan, but honestly, in the end, it's the military, and they just need to suck it up, Cupcake.
Excellent. Cool. So I take it you kind of get along well with the CO somewhat, or perhaps
Yes.
better than others do.
Perhaps better than others do.
Is there anything in particular that you actually have drawn that you've actually talked about aside from it, like that you've managed to draw him out in conversation about, basically?
I think I'm trying to convince him to go al natural with his hair.
Okay. It actually says something that he's willing to talk to you about that. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay. Good. This gives me more to think about here. Excellent. All right. So, as we continue our agenda here, next down we have the chief surgeon. Now, that typically is the someone who is a So let me, as this is involved, actually, before we tackle the chief surgeon completely, and wrestle them to the ground and figure out what's going on, I just want to ask Pepper, have you kind of had any more thoughts about what kind of doctor you want to be as we've been talking about this?
I was thinking psychiatrist, because that would play into his character very interestingly.
That would be very interesting. And it's kind of like, because you're religious also, it's kind of like with you and the Padre, the camp kind of has dueling counselors in a way. Which I also like the idea and dynamic of. Cool, excellent, okay.
They're silver and gold.
It's right there. It's right there on the label. Excellent. Good. That works nicely. Okay.
I like that's another point of contention between us. Because you can actually assign meds. I can't. But it's also a thing of where if I run into a problem where I know I can't handle it, like there is this sort of begrudging but very respectful. Like I can't talk about what happened in confession or in confidence, but could you talk to this person?
Good.
Yeah, I can see it. Yes.
Excellent. All right, cool. So now that we've figured out that, I just wanted to make sure we had that. We need a little bit of detail about the chief surgeon. And so this is someone that you're going to work with. You all are going to work with frequently. Who would like to volunteer a detail about the chief surgeon?
I want to windmill slam misanthrope.
What does that mean?
He's a Grumpelstiltskin.
You want to? Would we like the chief surgeon to be the misanthrope?
Yes.
What's a misanthrope? Remind me.
Moliere wrote a play apparently at some point.
Yeah, misanthrope. They hate people. At least that's what it looks like. They've been exposed to so much of humanity's ugliness that they've grown callous to protect themselves. It's hard to be emotionally with that person, and if you try to get anything out of them, they're the ones that get a dead on you. They are constantly trying to keep everything at parity and keep people at a distance. Like, while the stickler doesn't want hugs because that shows favoritism, the misanthrope doesn't want hugs because he doesn't want to be touched.
Okay. I was going to suggest the bully for role, just because of the way that surgeons are, and that they believe
it is one of the
hot shots of the medical field, and everyone should bow before them, and they're the boss. But
also, statistically, psychopaths tend to be attracted to surgeons.
Surgery, yeah.
The job of surgeons.
We could go. Yeah, I mean, I could go either way on that. Both of those sound good. We're gonna have a bully and we're gonna have a misanthrope. So I'm happy for the chief surgeon to fill either of those roles.
My vote is for the bully, because if he bullies patients, that would create a very interesting dynamic.
He bullies the other doctors.
Nobody said he had to be a good doctor.
He bullies the enlisted. He bullies the patients, and no one likes him.
But we kind of need him. So
yeah, he's their chief surgeon.
Yeah, I like to think he's an exceptionally good cutter.
Yeah.
Which just makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because he can't get on him for it.
Well, okay, if we're going with bully, this guy has the social graces of a magpie, but he is an incredible cutter. He's probably the best in that tent. So, as much as we want to get rid of him,
we can't afford to get rid of him.
We can't.
Yeah.
He saves lives.
Nice.
But you might put itching powder in his uniform. On the outfit.
He's the cutter that we don't deserve, but we really need.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Nice. So I feel like this is someone probably who just sort of pushed his way through the ranks. So this is probably a major, I'm thinking. I think this is someone who has been military side, I think.
For a while.
Yeah.
He has no bedside manner to speak of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just horrible. If I could throw one more out, I think he's stalled at major. doesn't have the social graces to work past it.
Yeah.
And I was also going to say there's probably there's like a saying that goes about like about camp, something about how he'll stitch you up, but like the minute that you're out of surgery, he'll open you right back up again with how he treats you.
Nice.
Probably better phrase than that, but I am on cold medication, so my brain isn't 100%.
Yeah, that works though. That works though. He'll tear you right open again after he stitches you up.
Mm-hmm.
His tongue is as sharp as a scalpel.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Excellent.
Oh, nice one, chat. Soul drill sergeant, body of a major.
I like that. Excellent. All right. Is there anything else we wanted to define about this character?
Let's give him a mustache.
Mustache approved.
Magnificent. It's a magnificent mustache.
He's
What style
exceptionally
is it?
proud. Like the Burt Reynolds, he's exceptionally proud of his mustache.
Does he like use wax on it? Is it like the?
I don't think it's the fur. If it's the Burt Reynolds, he doesn't like twirl it, but it is perfectly manicured. Like he brought over with him to the front this case of
pomade,
hair and pomade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm the only one here who just imagining him as like Colonel Sanders from like KFC.
He could be Colonel Sanders in a way. Colonel Sanders at times in his life kind of was a bully as well, but that's a different story. But yes, no, that works.
For it.
That works. So good. Again, if anyone feels like they have a name that leaps out at them, feel free to do it. Otherwise, I'll assign one at some point as we're kind of going through.
The name William comes to mind.
What if William Blackburn? Is that a good name?
Yeah.
It's just on the edge of being pompous.
Major Blackburn.
Yeah, Major Blackburn.
So the nickname around camp, because he's so witty, but he's also such a bully, is Major Burn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Don't want to get burned.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
Like, this guy is just pure acerbic and domineering.
I have a +1 to bully, so I just imagine that secretly it's like Egan taking notes of all the burns that.
Yeah, and that brings us naturally to my to my next thing I wanted to ask about. You've got a +1 to bully, so how is it that somehow with the chief surgeon, who seems to hate everybody, doesn't seem to hate you? Seems to get along with you better.
It's probably because I'm like, I'm kind of self-deprecating, and if you make fun of me, it's all right. It's all right. I've done my share of things.
Oh my god.
So.
Oh yeah.
I can make fun of myself.
Yeah.
It's like yell at me, and I'll just shrug it off. It's okay. At least you're having fun.
It's like a perpetually happy golden retriever with a really grumpy cat.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
also just dealing with sort of those people, Egan can take it. That means Byrne respects Egan.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense.
He gets under everyone else's skin.
Yeah. Nice. This is good. I like this. I like this a lot.
You can't insult me if I'm already insulting myself.
Wow. Okay. That works. That works. Man. Okay. So of course, something happened where Clark has obtained the honor of having Major Blackburn's specific disapproval, and what is that? I wonder.
I mean, there are a few things. Like, I think the disapproval definitely goes both ways. I don't like him. He doesn't like me. There might have been. I think he's married, but he'll fool around with girls. He doesn't. He's not a very faithful man. I I think I stole a girl from him.
This is still your girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that just adds a whole nother layer to the relationship between Isaiah and Clark.
I feel like Egan would be like, hey, do you mind if I keep record of how many women you bang? Because, like, this is interesting, actually. I want to see how far you can get.
The thing about Clark is that he doesn't like to date. He's more of a hookup kind of guy.
So, who do you hook up with today?
Yeah, and so I feel like this what's his name? Mr. Byrne, Dr. Byrne was William Blackburn, that's his name. There we go. He was like seducing and, like, you know, spending all of his script to get like flowers and like nice food and like pretty stuff for this girl, and then and just like seducing and like romancing her, and then I swoop in and and just like take her outright, like I meet her and I'm like, hey, you want to smash? And she's like, sure. And it's like, you know.
Well, you're the hot young blood as opposed to this guy who's definitely older.
Yeah.
And tries and cares, but also, again, has that ring around his finger.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing. Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, man. I feel like he's one of those guys that keeps the ring on deliberately. It's a thing where it's like because he believes it's useful in attracting women.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Okay, let's not generate too much hate on my part for this character because I will have to portray him at some point. But that's good though. That's good. That's all very good.
I think he also has the the propensity. He can be funny. Like if he's not got his eyes on you, he's got his eyes on someone you don't like. You're like, yes, you know.
That's Egan. It's like, yes, hate him. But don't tell them that I hate him.
Oh man, it's like he can be funny, but it's like it probably often comes from a place of hate.
It's probably why Egan also likes to tail around him and just waiting for him to burn someone because it's like he wants to sit back, eat some popcorns, and just watch the fire.
Yeah. It's just like you get him just upset enough, and basically pure art comes out.
Yeah.
It's like poetry. His insult is like poetry. Some, what is it? It's like some, I forget that name. The guy who made Romeo and Juliet.
Shakespeare.
It's Shakespearean language.
Oh my god.
Oh, this guy's like a Cyrano. Like I think he has a copy of the damn book.
He's very pretentious.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this guy.
We're getting so much mileage out of this. We're getting so much. We're getting so many details about this. I think. Hopefully, I can only hope that that in play he lives up to this monument we have just built, because it is glorious.
A monument to all our sins.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, nice. Okay, and I have to say this. Just read this in chat. The kind of guy who would literally bite his thumb and then be surprised when you don't understand the insult. Oh man. Okay. Good. So we have an excellent chief surgeon. So let's flip back here. Who's next? Chief nurse. So we need to figure out the chief nurse, and again, sort of which role we think they are, and more details as they come tumbling out.
I like the idea of her being the misanthrope, because it's very, ironic.
It takes
to what a nurse is.
Yeah, it takes the nurse trope and turns it on its head.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that she just hates everyone but her patients?
I think so.
She's
I think she
Like-
only caring to her patients, and everyone else she's like,
Yeah, she's
don't
an
talk to me.
angel when you've broken something. But otherwise is in fact the Antichrist.
See, my mind just wants to go Nurse Ratchet, but I don't know if that's where we completely want to go with this.
I don't think we want to go that hard.
Yeah.
excellent. Otherwise, hates everyone.
Yeah.
So any other? Do we have any other details about the chief nurse that we want to throw out here?
What if she's a multiple? Like, she has a twin sister or a twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny if she looks like most of the nurse, like in the camp, so you can't tell if it's her or not. And you just gotta be wary. It's like a minefield. If you piss her off, oof.
I feel like it's maybe that she has a twin who is also in, and stop me if this gets too tropey, but if she has a twin who's not always in the camp, it's like someone who comes to the camp from time to time, but who's also in the military, basically same military structure, and they're also fighting in the same war. And she's, I want to say, not necessarily the complete opposite, but different enough that it's like, if you think you're talking to the chief nurse, and it's like this is so kind and insightful. What do you?
I like going with that. I think she's one of the nurses that comes with the meat wagon to bring them back further along the chain, further away from the front.
So she sees the worst of it.
Like, yeah, our head nurse sees the worst of things, but her twin sees them taking those people who are on the front and moving them out of the front. She's on that meat wagon, so she's regularly coming by the base.
So she actually, so this nurse's sister probably has fairly regular interaction with Clark.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I was going to say, I've slept with her sister.
Sure, we can say that.
Yeah.
That's a detail.
She's a twin and I've slept with her. Probably more than once, but we keep it casual.
Damn, Clark, you've done a lot to most of the people in the camp.
Yep.
The nurse and then the head. Oof. I hope you didn't make a trip to the hospital.
Nice. That's excellent.
You got a lot of enemies, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be so good. So yeah, that actually that's interesting. That's an interesting sort of dynamic there, because they kind of, it's like they're both trying to kind of do the same thing, but they probably push up against each other, and they probably argue quite a fair amount. They don't hate each other, but I think probably since coming to the war, they have not they have not gotten along.
Yeah. Another thing about our chief nurse is that I think she's quite tall, and so ends up having to wear some men's uniforms sometimes because the women's uniforms are not tailored to fit her as well.
Okay, cool. Good. Now I see also from our little list here that now, and again, if I have a mark in the wrong place, remind me. But Egan has negatives with the misanthrope. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So you have earned the chief nurse's disapproval in some fashion. What happened?
I pulled a prank on her, and it didn't go well. Let's just say if I ever get into her eyesight, I'll better be running.
So the prank backfired?
Oh, it backfired, and it's still. I regret that.
What was the prank?
You don't want to know.
What was the prank?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Aggie, you have to tell me what the prank was. You have to tell me.
Clark, please. You're gonna put me on a push-up for like a week. 100 push-up for a week is too much.
I'm not your CO. You can tell me. I won't. I swear.
Okay. Remember that funny stuff that the other guys bring from the outside? I thought it was like salt, but it was something else, and I put it in her drinks.
Oh.
I think it was, illegal stuff. I think.
So you
okay.
got her high, is what you're saying.
Yes. And I watched her flailing around. It was funny, but it was not worth it, man.
Yeah, she's one of those people you want to stay on the good side of.
Wow. Okay.
I guess we have enemies and friends in the hospitals,
Yes.
huh?
Yeah.
So I feel like this might be a. I have to double check on the. Actually, let me double check on the list real quick to see if they specifically mention this. As to whether or not the chief nurse has to be a major or a captain. Because I was thinking of saying that she might be a captain, but just wanted to see if I can remember. All right, it doesn't say. It doesn't. So at least not in this part. It probably is in one of the many other parts of the book. So I was kind of feeling that she might be a captain. Just because it seems that she's had other things also that she had to focus on and is now focusing on this. But it's and as someone who is this also strikes me as someone who's as a misanthrope, basically, someone who might not necessarily care about impressing people or climbing ladders as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I think we're a really lucky unit because we've got like a hell of a chief surgeon and a hell of a chief nurse. It's just like, as people,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
you can't stand being around them.
Yeah.
But when the
yeah.
casualties start to come in, you're grateful that they're there.
All right.
Same thing with CO. It's just like this place is running well, but the personalities at play are
Yeah.
a pain in the ass.
Terrible, terrible people at the top so far. Oh,
I wonder what that says about us, that we mutually created these people this way.
I know. I don't know what it says. Once again, if anyone has... sorry, go ahead.
There's a phrase for it. Choose the form of the destructor.
Yes. Why, yes. Yes. Hang on, I just need to sharpen these knives over here. So once again, if anyone has a name, feel free to toss it out.
We also need to name her sister.
That's true.
Oh. Cassandra and Penelope.
Love it. Cassandra and Penelope. Let me just... I've got...
Why not Rodriguez?
Yeah.
So Cassandra Rodriguez is the chief nurse.
Penelope. I call her Penny.
Yeah. She's probably okay with that. And her sister probably does something else. Oh no, we know. I mean, we know what she does, but it's so she goes back and forth there. I think Penelope might be a lieutenant. maybe like first lieutenant.
Yeah, I think she's a first lieutenant, like just a rung below her sister.
Yeah. Which doesn't help their clashing
Yeah.
at all, probably.
What if Cassandra was the younger one?
Oh.
Oh. Oh, she's the younger one, but she doesn't look it.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're twins, so that we're talking a few minutes, probably.
Yeah, but almost everyone thinks that of the two of them, when you
Yeah.
ask which one was born first.
Yeah, they would think that it's. Oh, I also actually like the idea to a certain extent that Penelope maybe. So wait, Cassandra's the younger one, yes?
Yes,
Yes.
Cassandra's our nurse.
That's interesting, because I was thinking about things where like you flip things around, and again, not completely opposite, but it's like for some reason Cassandra has had to expend more energy doing what she does in a certain way, is like just being nice to the patients. I don't know, maybe I feel like it probably comes from a genuine place, but for some reason that's the stress gets to her just a little bit more, probably because she's in the MASH. While Penelope has been transporting people, and I feel like she kind of is. Penelope is like slightly the opposite in that she's nicer to sort of her coworkers, her various other officers and enlisted folk, but is with the patients she's a little surly.
Yeah.
So it's just
One last thing.
Transport them.
Cassandra can drink all of us into the table.
Yes.
Well, I would think she probably did up until that incident.
Oh, no
Yep,
wonder she...
that is.
You.
Yeah. I think Clark can hold his liquor pretty well, but he doesn't hold a candle to her.
Yeah.
Egan tried, but Egan can't. Oh, the first time he did. Oof.
Yeah.
It was a big mistake.
I feel as though there was a point where there was some kind of minor contest going on.
Yeah.
And I think at some point that might have been when Egan got fed up and tried to and pulled the prank, and terrible things happened.
Yeah.
That's good.
I wanna say that I've came up with a nickname for Cassandra that Egan used whenever he's just get you know,
Mhm.
a little bit like, I'm feeling a little bit jabby today. I wanna, I wanna just call her something, and then he calls her Ass Sandra.
Oh my god.
Just that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, excellent. So, as we, I am not. Yeah, it's good. It's actually good. We're getting these details because then we're gonna have these more fully realized things. So we have a few more to go, just so you're aware. We have the chief of medicine, who is it's generally the lead doc. That is the one who's in charge of everything that's not. Is responsible for all patients with non-surgical illnesses. So determines what treatments they need and when they should be evacuated or returned to their unit. So this could potentially, if we wanted, this could be Isaiah. But at the same time, it depends on whether or not we want to do that.
I'm down.
It's interesting. I think it's interesting because it's a psychiatrist, and you don't normally see that. But at the same time, there may be shortages of people, so we could say that you're doing, for whatever reason, the duties of chief of medicine.
Yeah, what if it was supposed to be a temporary thing, but
Yeah.
because it's wartime, things happened?
Exactly.
Also, if you don't mind with your history, maybe you're like psychiatry is your passion, but you're also a bit of a medical wonderkind, and already did your residency and were a general practitioner, but then went and pursued psychology.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. Yeah. So you have the necessary sort of skills. It's just that, that you sort of you more specifically wanted to be a psychiatrist. At the same time, they're like, no, we still need a chief of medicine. Okay. So that's good. That's interesting, and that more squarely puts you into things where you're helping out also when in the OR.
Okay.
Which is good. So let's see. The executive officer. The executive officer, or EXO, directs administrative activities for the hospital and functions as the chief of administrative services. The EXO's job is often to follow up on and correct problems that couldn't be solved by the administrative services staff. And it's usually a cutter or a doc, typically. Let's see. We need to. I wonder what do we think?
We need to have a cutter that's an antagonist to our chief surgeon.
Yeah, we need a. I can't remember we need a Hawkeye.
A mediator?
To the Frank. I can't remember his last name.
The weasel face.
Yes.
Burns,
no.
strangely enough.
Yeah, Burns. No, this is our Hawkeye. This guy, is he a Casanova or is he a clown?
That's
I
interesting
feel-
because he changed over the series too. But yeah.
Well, what about clown to try to relieve the tension?
Sure.
Okay, so this guy is charming and funny.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but like him.
Okay.
But I feel like he's older. He's definitely like you'd think he'd be the chief surgeon, but he's older than our chief surgeon.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
He's kind of like the uncle figure,
Uncle Iroh.
Yeah,
Oh,
well-
yes, Uncle Iroh.
Yeah, no, this
He's
guy's
funny, but also parental.
wise and wily. I think has a really good, despite his clownish nature, has a really good relationship with the CO.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have drinks together, sort of like they're actually friends.
Yeah.
But he just gets right under the skin of our head surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Almost
Nice.
a Dick Van Dyke like figure.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So you're talking about like Uncle Ira. Is that a reference to something, or is that?
Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Ah, okay, gotcha.
one of my favorite series of all time.
Oh yes, definitely mine too.
Cool. I like this. This is interesting. And it's interesting because he's older. We could go either go either captain or major if we wanted to. I don't feel like he would necessarily seek out chain of command stuff. Let's also go back and ask: is this a draftee or is this someone who's been on the military side?
I think he was drafted.
Yeah.
He's been through the worst of it, and he sees how it affects some of the younger soldiers, and he wants to step up and kind of take them under his wing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, he could be like a dad, like Egan, whose dad is not really that good to him.
Oh yeah.
Dad jokes.
Oh
Dad
yeah.
jokes.
No, like dad jokes may help a couple of the enlisted guys pull a prank on the right person. Yeah, no, this guy was drafted definitely.
Okay. So
But maybe because of his reputation, like this guy feels like he was the chief of surgery at some other place
Yeah.
before he got drafted. So he's probably a major.
Okay. And it is interesting because it's like he's just basically all he does is he administrates for the so there's a well, I mean not all he does, but he also operates, but yeah. No, that's interesting. I actually need to even look into further what does it, but it's sort of an XO. He kind of just gets things done, basically. Gets people to get where they need to go. Cool. Do we have any thoughts about naming this person?
This
Bertrand.
is Bertrand. Yes,
We can call him Birdie.
Sure.
Who's Birdie?
our XO,
Okay. Thank you.
our executive officer.
Oh, you get Birdie and Aggie. Such a
Nice.
pair.
Oh my god. Nice. Major Bertrand something.
Oh. No idea.
Major Bertrand, no idea.
Bertrand Klein?
Sure.
Dr. Klein?
Yeah. That works. Okay. So we have this guy that basically that everybody likes, who doesn't have huge authority, but some, and basically just is in terms of like just running things. When it comes to the hospital. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there are any other connections or details we want to throw in. We've got connection to Egan. Does anyone else have a particular connection to this character?
I think he lets slip to Father Silver precisely what we're low on when he can't get the log jam cleared. So by less than up and up means, things can be procured.
Excellent. Cool. Good. Cool. Was there anything else we wanted to add about this guy, or shall we go to the next one?
He's an irregular player at the poker game.
He's a regular player.
Irregular.
Irregular.
He only like the games every week. he might show up once a month.
Cool. Ah! My pencil is trying to commit suicide.
I'm kind of thinking that he's also kind of like the kind of guy who like talk about something but also giving ideas to someone, like maybe to Egan, like when he's trying to come up with a plan and for a prank, and then he's just like, oh, you can try to do this, but I don't know, I will do something else,
Yeah.
Mischief maker.
Yeah, mischief maker. He's giving me ideas.
It's like one of those people he incites other people to mischief. He doesn't actually do it directly himself, so it's not traceable necessarily back to... It's like everyone feels as though he did something, but there's no proof.
He's the one that convinces the stupid kid to kick the hornet's nest.
Yes.
And that stupid kid is me and Muff.
I love this.
I'll try to talk you out of it if it's like dangerous, but otherwise I'll let it happen.
Oh, don't worry. Egan would always talk to Clark about it. Like, he's always have like this journal with him, and he always writes down his plans, and he always like, okay, so I'm gonna do this. What do you think?
Excellent.
Well, that's
Very
actually
cool.
so sweet. It makes my heart hurt.
Oh my god. Okay, so next on the list is the chaplain. We know who that is. We only have 2 more left. And so we have the first sergeant and the company clerk. So the first sergeant is the most senior enlisted representative who advises the CO on all matters pertaining to the welfare, morale, assignment, reassignment, promotion, and discipline of enlisted personnel. The first sergeant provides counsel and guidance to NCOs and junior enlisted and may assist with medical situations. And this is either a corpsman or a grunt, typically. I will say that of the first sergeant or the company clerk, we haven't actually had the gray yet. We do need to put in a gray somewhere.
I think the gray is the company clerk. I like the idea of this guy, the head of the non-coms, being the rival Casanova.
Yeah, no, I was gonna suggest the exact same thing.
I like this.
What he'll do is, like, sometimes if I, like, it's not like we have a competition going, but sometimes if I, like, get with a girl, obviously, that he had his eyes on or something, within a couple of weeks, she'll be out of camp. Or something like that.
Nice.
He is also, like, ruggedly handsome.
Mm-hmm. I'm handsome, but in, like, a weirdly pretty way.
Yeah. You're the pretty boy. He's the muscled hunk.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself a rifle over here.
Yeah.
You want me to pull prank on him so you'll win?
Maybe.
Like, one of this guy's claims to fame is, like, if there's an arm wrestling contest, he wins it.
Yeah. Oh, he's kind of stupid. Is his thing. He's a bit of a.
He's a jock.
He's a himbo.
Himbo.
What is this now?
A himbo? Oh, I gotta introduce my mom to this word.
Robin, you take the lead on this.
Okay, so do you know what a bimbo is?
Oh, yes.
So it's a male version of that.
Ah, understood.
Yeah.
Ruggedly handsome, a bit vapid, but, like, immensely strong. Like, even stronger than they appear to be.
Yeah.
What if he's very vain?
Mm-hmm.
Like Johnny Bravo checking his hair in the mirror kind of a thing.
Nice.
He always asks, like, all of the guys to, like, who wants to, like, work out with me when we're, like, that's, like, his downtime thing.
Oh, who's gonna spot me today?
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh, my God. I feel like this might be one of the guys that also, it's like they're... And I think part of the reason why he was able to get this position and do it is because he actually is likable. I think it's one of those people who he just kind of gets along with people and encourages them. And as far as mostly with working out, but things of that nature where it's like he tries to kind of
strong
positive
into positive
reinforcement to push
reinforcement.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those people where it's like he is vain, he is vapid, but he's also. It's the thing is you kind of want to hate him sometimes, but
You can't help
you
liking
can't.
him.
Because he's one of those good guys.
He was definitely like the quarterback on his high school football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, prom king.
He dated the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if what time period football became like the quintessential American sport, but
Yeah, football, it's the 50s. I think it probably had made it in by that point.
50s is where it starts to tick up. It becomes a big thing in the 1960s. But, he could have done football. Definitely track and field. This guy would have been an Olympian.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we could actually take that literally. And say that he was in the Olympics. Maybe.
Okay.
he was in the Olympics. He didn't place, but he was in them.
Yeah.
But just this guy is ripped, stunning.
What was his big thing in track and field?
Triathlon.
Triathlon. Oh,
Ooh, brutal.
Now, if I recall correctly, is that the throwing the stick and then?
no, that's triathlon is
I'm thinking of decathlon. Never mind. Yeah.
biking,
You run, you bike, and you swim.
swim.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that sounds
it's a
exhausting.
lot. Yeah, right?
Yeah, this guy has endurance for days. Again, he's not the brightest bulb, but if you give him a regimented task, he's incredible at it.
Yeah. He's a good soldier.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not much in the way of the creative thinking department, though.
No.
Nah.
Do not
All right.
challenge this guy to talk about philosophy.
No.
Yeah.
I think he and I
think-
get along
Yeah.
decently well.
Cool.
You got kind of a frenemies thing going on?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely pretty resentful of him, but that's for personal. Not because we're both, Yeah, no. It's I'm not resentful of his looks. I'm not resentful of his athleticism. It's something else. But I mean, we'll get drinks together or something.
Yeah. This is good. So, I think that the only other thing I'd want to ask with respect to this, a couple of things. So we clearly have a connection, a competitive, a friendly-ish competitive relationship between the sergeant and Clark. Does anyone else have some kind of relationship with this character?
Well, the Casanova has a +1 with the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd probably, definitely. So Egan, and he'd be in touch, and it makes sense just for command structure that.
He might have a little crush. But he's like a little bit like, no, please don't. No, not this time, please. Of all people, please, no.
Who has the crush on whom?
Egan has a crush on this
Okay.
guy. I forgot
Bruce.
his name. Yeah, Bruce.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce
Yeah.
Ellis.
Oh,
Yes.
What
Bruce
was the-
Ellis.
Excellent.
Sounded
Nice.
like Bruce Willis.
It's close. Not quite. Excellent. Good. I like this. Bruce Ellis. Cool. Did anyone want to throw down any final details about Bruce before we move on to our company clerk? All right. company clerk, we've sort of said we think that this is the gray. As kind of a reminder as to what that is for me, anyone. You blend in. You finish the tasks assigned to you, but not exceptionally. You try to avoid being first or last, standing out in any way that will draw attention. You keep your eyes open for what's happening around you, just in case knowledge can be used to your advantage later. So someone who tries to avoid work, kind of. So that is going to be the company clerk, who, just as a reminder, it's an enlisted representative who performs typing and administrative duties, maintains files and logs, acts as a switchboard and radio operator for the command section. And this was basically, in the TV show, this was Radar and later Klinger. What about this one? This is the gray.
Definitely a draftee.
Yeah.
You got
What?
someone against draftees.
Well, no, this guy does not want to be here.
Yeah, what if he's like one of those draftees who got drafted right out of high school because he didn't go to college? He was just kind of dicking around doing a minimum wage job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would make a better company cook than a clerk.
Things always goes missing, paperwork's never filed, the desk is a mess. It's very clear he doesn't want to be there, like Dennis Nedry from Jurassic Park.
But
He's doing the minimum he can do and not get discharged.
Yeah. But
Dishonorable discharge.
when the CO needs something, he can miraculously find it.
Yeah. He's a lot more competent than he lets on.
Nice.
His uniform's constantly disheveled. There's mystery stains on it. You go through his desk and there's snacks dating from 2 years ago, a trail of crumbs leading off into the corner. Yet he knows exactly where everything is.
Nice.
But if you can somehow sneak him into the mess tent and get him cooking, the best food you will have had in months.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You always need to beg for him to cook.
The thing is, he hates cooking more than he hates doing paperwork.
Yes.
But he's a wizard in the kitchen.
The only time that he will voluntarily cook is because he has his eyes on one particular nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a handsome man.
No.
But his cooking is slowly winning her heart.
Yeah.
Oh, what if it's like Nurse Cassandra?
Oh, I ship it.
Oh, he is trying so hard, but he really doesn't want to be here, except for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, what did he see in Nurse Cassandra? Nobody knows but him.
Yeah.
Nobody knows but him.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, I can kind of see what he sees in Nurse Cassandra, but
Well, considering he banged her sister.
yeah, from a different
Oh yeah.
angle, I guess.
He's the Gordon Ramsay in the MASH, but
my God.
really.
He takes the patient's head, holds it up between two slices of bread. What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Yeah, no.
Mhm.
He's not handsome, but he's an amazing cook, and he's not often, but when he actually does crack a joke, it gets everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. It's interesting. It's it's this person who just doesn't apply himself, but would be brilliant if he did.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So this to be company clerk, I think you have to be at least a corporal.
Yes.
And so I think my question is, how the hell did he make corporal?
By
It's just
accident.
years in service, right? Time.
No,
Some of
it's
that,
not
yeah.
even time and grade. But no, this he made corporal because of an error.
I love it.
I want to quit, but in the end, I only got up.
You only got
Claire,
promoted.
Claire. I love it.
No, it was an error because someone couldn't read someone's handwriting when it came to the service
Oh my
number.
God. He was
Is
promoted
that
on
a
handwriting
4 or
error.
a 9? I can't tell. And so he got someone else's promotion.
That
And he
is
doesn't want it.
wonderful. Yes.
He's like on the leave like 2 days before leave, but then he got a promotion, and it's like, God damn it!
He's
Is he-
about to go home.
No, not
I
even
was
go
a-
home. He was about to go on leave, but then he got promoted and transferred.
Oh.
Oh,
I can just imagine like people are like congratulating him, but it's like, fuck you.
You know, is this... It's interesting because it's like... Maybe he was like in Tokyo or something. And...
He just arrived.
They ended up transferring him into Korea. Because it was like he was in a support role. He was fine there. He was
He was
like,
perfectly happy working, say, as a private for the head quartermaster's office in Tokyo.
Yeah. It was like I had this strange thought as maybe he was like cooking for a general or something like that, and he was sort of just he was in a position he liked. It was fine.
But he doesn't like
Although
cooking.
He does hate cooking. Yeah, so maybe he was just doing as
He-
little as possible.
Yeah, no, he was just a gopher,
He was a gopher. Yeah.
and
quartermaster,
like,
yeah.
just moving stuff around. That's all he had to do was just 6 hours to move stuff around between breaks and everything. That's all he had to do. And now he's having to keep all these files. He's closer to a war zone. He actually has to worry about carrying a gun,
Yeah.
servicing it. He has people yelling at him all the time. Like, this is the worst thing ever. Like, the only highlights here is that as much as I hate it, people enjoy my cooking. They laugh at my jokes. And there's this very pretty woman that I'm incredibly soft on, and she likes my cooking.
Yeah. I
love
this.
it.
I like this quite a lot. Okay, so we need to figure out what his name is, and we need to forge just a couple of connections to him. And well, actually, we already have one. We do have one. We have Jacob. You are connected to this character.
Yeah.
In a positive way.
No, he, as much as he hates everything, he's not super devout, but he's devout enough. This is somebody who's sort of like a lapsed Catholic, and because they're under the pressures of war, they regularly come to confession because they're so scared that just one bombing run, one little thing could go wrong, and then he's gone like that. So regularly comes to confession, and he's a regular part of the poker game because it's one of the things that gets his mind off things.
Yeah. Cool. And also, being the company clerk, he does kind of have access to some things.
Yeah, this is
so it's
a
helpful
sort of
for you to
Biotic relationship.
This is, I try and do everything I can to distract him and keep him safe. In exchange, like, whenever I need to get on the horn, he's right there for me.
Nice.
If some file needs to go missing, it does. Like, it's this entire give and take. I have this idea. Also, in my procurement runs, if I can find any food that Cassandra likes, I bring it back just for him.
Nice. That's very good. I like that a lot. We'll have so we need one more person to be connected to this person. And who wants to have some sort of relationship with him? Just as a thought, or at least just something prior, so some thing where we can snatch
I
onto it.
have a bit of an idea, but I don't know. Egan has a lot of
That's true.
connection.
That's true. You're
It's
connected to a
just-
lot of people. What about what about Dr. Gold? Is there it could be a negative relationship possibly if you would like, but it could also be.
honestly, I was thinking that Isaiah can't stand him.
Yeah.
Like, he's slovenly. He doesn't care about his job. He half-asses everything. He has the audacity to flirt with the chief nurse. Who does this guy think he is?
So has there been some sort of negative thing that's happened that is kind of that's kind of maybe it's like maybe you're at a stalemate or you're fighting some sort of you're playing some kind of chess match and perhaps neither of you really understands what it is or something.
Yeah, like neither of us quite understand the motive of what we're doing, but we know we just exist to kind of be petty toward each other.
Excellent. So it's like you just somehow started playing this game where you're foiling each other. Yeah. This is good. Excellent. Okay. What we just need a name for this person.
I like part of what we got in chat. How about Rufus Smith?
Yeah, I like Rufus.
Rufus
Smith.
It evokes that kind of that
Slavic.
gopher quality. Yeah.
So the person that was supposed to get the promotion was probably, I'm guessing, another Smith.
Richard Smith.
Richard Smith, yeah. So R. Smith, Private R. Smith was supposed to become Corporal R. Smith. And that's yeah. Too many Smiths, man. Too many Smiths.
He's complained about it like a bunch of times and tried to get it fixed, like tried to be transferred back, but every time they're like, no, everything's in order. This is where you're supposed to be. And he's like, no, it is such a mistake.
No! Awesome. Okay. Oh my god. This is delightful. All right. So, I think that about places us where we need to be to get this thing started. And as it's 10 o'clock, we're going to do that next time. I think. So next time we'll do. We'll actually go ahead and start. We'll go ahead and start in this camp, and things will begin happening, and we'll sort of go from there. I am very excited about this. Thank you, folks, for a delightful session 0 on this. I am very much looking forward to it. So as we are screaming toward outro now, I kind of got now this stack of humanity in front of me, and we should be good to go. We're gonna go ahead and go around doing our outros, reverse from the way we started, and tell folks where they can find you and any thoughts you had about this session and just what you're anticipating for these sessions to come. And we will start with Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build on the Twitter, World Build on the Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. As for what I'm expecting, I am... all at once, there's going to be a great deal of laughs. There is going to be definitely some tension, and I have this sneaking and terrible suspicion there's going to be some tragedy. I love you, Jim. I hate you, Jim.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Cool. And let's go over to Pepper.
All right. Well, I am very excited for that sweet character development. Especially with all the different relationships that we have going on just during session 0. It's a wonderful starting off point. I'm very excited to see where all this goes. I am on Twitter at maybe them4815 and on Archive of...
Oh, sorry, I think we lost you there.
Yeah, your mic just cut out.
Really?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, what did you guys catch?
You said Archive of Art, and then it was went.
Okay. You can find me on Archive of Our Own at bbthem4815, and I use they, them pronouns in my real life.
Excellent. And now let's head over to Noah.
You can find me at Twitter at OrenRune, and well, for me, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of mischief I can do with Egan. It's just a lot of fun things, especially playing as a clown. I've always liked playing as like this happy-go-lucky guy, or someone just that can crack up jokes or make like funny stuff happen just to brighten up the mood, because of this theme can be kind of gloomy and can be kind of dark, and I just kind of like to be the guy who brightens up, and I hope I can be that person who like make the session, a bit more loosen up than tight and too stressful and all that. And well, yeah, that's all I think.
I think this is going to be very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. And let us finally go on to Robin.
Hi everyone, I've been Robin. You can find me on Twitter at @r_omulus. You can also find me on Off the Tables channel here on Twitch this Friday for our finale of The Claiming, which is an Urban Shadows campaign set in 1890s California. So that's very exciting. Yeah, that's where I'll be. And I'm very excited to plunge into the hidden depths of our characters together and see what lies waiting in the deep.
I cannot wait. I think this is we have developed a very solid camp with a solid cast of characters, and I very badly want to see where this goes. So I will be delighted to get into this. As for me, once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, and YouTube channel. On Friday, I will also be over on Off the Table, playing in the finale of their 1890s Urban Shadows campaign. All manner of disaster is happening, and we've just got to see how this whole thing ends. And I'm very excited for that. That again is at off_the-table. Back on this channel on Saturday nights, we have our regular Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Hopefully we'll be back with that. We had some folks out last time, and so we kind of decided to pause the game for last weekend, but this coming weekend I think we'll probably have more folks. And they're actually starting to figure things out that are happening, which is both delightful and scary. So we'll see we'll see how that goes. On Sundays we do one-shots here, and this Sunday the one-shot will be The Quiet Year. We're going to be doing a very chill map drawing game about people rebuilding after the fall of civilization, and so I'm very much looking forward to that. Right now, I think technically we do have sign-ups still open for The Quiet Year. We might be able to cram in one or two more people possibly if folks want to sign up for that, but that's the only thing I've got actively for sign-ups right now. There is a thing coming up mid-month that there's going to be a slight schedule hiccup possibly. So we'll have to see kind of how things go. Real life interferes. But hopefully if I can get things together for it, and I'm not too terribly distracted by the real life thing, then somewhere mid-month we are probably going to do another session of For the Queen, which we did that a couple of months ago, and it was delightful, and one can never play it enough. So look for signups for that soon. You can always click on the sign-up link below, RPG signups, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game Sign Up, and that is where those are. As always, beginners are welcome. So when we hit the end card, let's see. Let's go raid Lindy. I don't think I've raided Lindy lately, so I'm going to go raid Lindy, who I think it's her. Is it her Ravenloft? Yes, it's her Ravenloft campaign that's been going for quite a while, which has some delightful players in it. So if you are so inclined, feel free to stick around and come with us to say hi to her. And again, that will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next week. Farewell.